Okay, wonderful. I see that it started recording. I'm going to share, and John, you can get started.
The Sustainable Energy Fund. The Sustainable Energy Fund has been around for the last 21 years and has been financing energy efficiency, energy conservation, and renewable energy projects over that entire period of time. And we have a very exciting program today. There are a lot of projects out there, and there's a lot of project customers that are used to going into a car dealership and getting a loan while they sit there and wait, even though it's painful to deal with the finance people at the car dealership. And this program gives those customers some of the same benefits compared to our traditional loan programs. Kristen, next slide. At SEF, we're not driven by a vision, mission, and values. We are driven by what we call our essence, and our core value is to revitalize living systems. And our core process is to enable action. Through this program as an example of us enabling action. And a core purpose is to realize a regenerative energy future. Regenerative energy future is a little different than energy efficiency or renewable energy. Energy efficiency is doing less bad. Renewable energy is doing some good. Regenerative energy, on the other hand, actually helps in a positive way regenerate the earth, remake these vital living systems that are essential for our survival on this planet. Our vocation is to enable influencers to affect a response by an energy user to take action to move towards a regenerative energy future. And that's what we're doing here today. SEF is enabling NEIF to work with you as contractors to affect action by an energy user to move more towards that future. Slide, Kristen. These are just some points. These are hardly all the high points of SEF, but the loan program started back in 1999. We have done some very instrumental things. Back in 2005, we helped finance the first wind farm in Pennsylvania. And then in 2009, we started Energy Path, which is our annual conference. Well, it was annual up till COVID, was our annual conference where we bring together sustainable energy-minded people that are looking to increase their passion for and knowledge of sustainable energy for today and tomorrow. And that conference includes traditional conference of what you're used to. It includes a middle school and high school science fair. And it's been a big hit. We have participation, not just from Pennsylvania, but from across the United States and as well as internationally. In 2012, we were honored by UNIDO, Sustainability for All initiative. We put on a session at the Constitution Center for ambassadors across the world as an example of how a nonprofit should operate. And then in 2018, Sustainable Energy Fund put a lot of effort and financial resources behind the Pennsylvania CPACE program. And I'm proud to say that today there's 11 counties that have passed resolutions for CPACE. And some of those counties are up and running and have active CPACE programs. And we expect a couple more will be active before the end of this year. Earlier this year, we finally moved into our net zero office building. We call it net zero, but we probably should have called it net energy positive. The building's generating much more energy than it uses. The solar system went online in the May to June timeframe, and it's already generated well over 100,000 kilowatt hours of electricity to export to the grid. So we're doing our part to not just power our own building, which is extremely energy efficient. For the technical people on the phone, we're talking an EUI between 22 and 24, which is obviously 1/4 of a traditional office building. So it's extremely energy efficient, uses energy wisely, and has a great balance with energy generation that's solely located on the roof of the building. The Sustainable Energy Fund, through its financing programs, I've lost track of how much the projects are worth, but we have financed well north of $100 million, about 50 to 75 million in direct financing for projects. We have just financed a portion of Pennsylvania's largest solar project. For those that aren't aware, there's a 220 megawatt solar project that's going to be erected in central Pennsylvania to serve the University of Pennsylvania and its hospital systems. And we were fortunate enough to fund some critical equipment for that project. So we do loans from $5,000 to $5 million. So we do a variety of loans for different types of projects, whether they be solar, energy efficiency, or renewable energy. And the amount of the loan that we're willing to do depends on the term. But we're here today for Matthew and Jensen to talk about a very special loan program that we have high hopes for, that will meet the needs of the market and provide contractors the ability to increase their closing ratio. Kristen, next slide. I talked a little bit about our programs already, so I'm not going to go into this slide. And I think that's my last slide, Kristen.
Yep. All right.
Well, thank you, John. This is Matthew Brown, one of two co-chairs and founders of the National Energy Improvement Fund. I'm just going to start while we do the switch over for to a new screen and the presentation mode for that screen for our side of the presentation. But first off, I want to say a huge thank you to John Costa, to Kristen Sen, to the Sustainable Energy Fund. We at NEIF are very pleased, very proud to be able to associate with you. We've had a long association with the Sustainable Energy Fund for years, and this is kind of a big milestone in launching this program. We've been working on this very hard for a number of months, so this is a big day for us and a big day for us working jointly with SEF. So thank you very much, John. Really appreciate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through a few slides, not a lot of slides, but a few slides to describe this new energy efficiency loan program that is designed specifically for the needs of contractors in Pennsylvania. I'm going to give you a few program details. We're going to run through I'll give you a very quick portal demonstration and give you a sense of next steps. So Jensen wants to move to the next slide. So, and the next slide. So very quickly, many of you on this call will have known AFC First, which is our predecessor company. Many of you will have known my colleague and partner Peter Kreisa and many other members of our team, Tessa Shin and others who are actually on this call. But we have worked for years in Pennsylvania as a team. We relaunched with the National Energy Improvement Fund approximately 2.5 years ago to 3 years ago. And again, this is a big milestone for us. But just a quick kind of primer on who the National Energy Improvement Fund is. First and foremost, we are a lender. We focus on energy efficiency and resiliency improvements, lighting, roofing, HVAC. We are a consumer lender in 20 states. We work nationally on commercial lending. We work a lot through partnerships. So this partnership with SEF is a great example of the kind of thing that we do. We work jointly with nonprofits. We work jointly with state governments, with utilities, with distributors, with contractors. We see ourselves as really a partner for you, for contractors, and others. We've been around for a long time as AFC First. One thing that we are very proud of, we are what we call a certified B or benefit corporation, which is essentially a third-party verification or certification describing how we are certainly a for-profit organization, but we are also very dedicated to, I guess I'll just say very broadly, trying to make the world a better place, a kind of for-profit, but for-profit for good. We are a mission-oriented for-profit organization. One of the key things I really want to emphasize, though, is that our whole role in life here as NEIF is to support contractors, to support energy efficiency, to support contractors who are delivering energy efficiency to homes and to businesses. Let's move to the next slide. I won't spend a lot of time on this because I've actually covered a lot of it. A couple of key things, though, I really want to make certain everybody understands. We focus a lot on process. We focus a lot on making financing easy. A lot of people don't think financing is easy. We have developed tools to make it easy, to make it fast for you to integrate financing into your sales process. That's a very important part of what we do. Second, transparency. We do not have hidden fees. We do not have dealer fees. It's very important for you to understand that, because when you start looking at financing, you will find all kinds of hidden fees, all kinds of dealer fees. Very, very important to understand that. Finally, I'll just emphasize one other piece. We work with you as contractors. We provide finance training. We provide sales training. We have no problem in jumping on a call with you to describe to you how to use our portal. We're going to give you a very short demonstration of that today. But we are quite confident in our ability not only to deliver a very good and easy product, but also to deliver that sales training to make you as comfortable as possible in using it. Let's move to the next slide. And the next slide. So we are launching, starting on Monday, a new energy efficiency focused, Pennsylvania only, special financing program. Key points. One, we go to very small project sizes, down to $2,500, up to what you would see as kind of a typical easy project, up to $100,000. So kind of a key part of the market. Second, 1 year to 10-year financing terms. You will not find financing terms in the commercial space that go as long as 10 years for the most part. So we have extended, in order to make this more acceptable to you, to extend the types of customers, the types of projects that you can finance. We can finance out to 10 years. Projects do have to be in Pennsylvania. This is a very specific Pennsylvania-focused program. We have low rates. Looking back and kind of thinking about that transparency side of things, they are simple, fixed monthly payment options for your customers. Right? There aren't these dealer fees. There aren't a lot of customer fees to be aware of. Finally, instant credit approvals for well-qualified borrowers. So we have developed multiple different what we call APIs or integrations with credit with our credit agencies that enable us to give an instant credit approval in many cases. Again, no contractor fees to participate. So let's move to the next slide. This launches Monday, by the way. So two ways that you will see to access the program. One, the direct to customer application. We will show you how to do this, but customers can access this, can get directly on our website to an application. You as a contractor will need to be you will need to be a NEIF-approved contractor. We will make sure that you are set up as a NEIF-approved contractor. We'll show you how to get approved. Secondly, initiating by the contractor. So if you are a contractor sitting with a customer, you can, in just, if we say 2 minutes or less, it truly is within a minute or less, really, you can generate a financing proposal based on actual rates for that customer, and then manage that project all the way to the point of final funding when we fund you. Let's move to the next slide. And then, now I'm going to switch over to Jensen Handwerk, who is going to share a short 5 to 6 minute demonstration of how to use our financing portal. So I think Jensen is probably going to have to switch screens to make this happen.
Yep.
So Jensen, shall I just let you take it away?
Yeah, sure. And thank you so much, John and Kristen, for setting this up, and Matthew for kicking us off. My name is Jensen Handwerk, folks. I'm a business development specialist with National Energy Improvement Fund. And hopefully in the coming days and months, I'm going to get to know all of you quite well. As among various responsibilities, I will be kind of the day-to-day help and manager of this program on the front end. And so my role is really to support you all as contractors, both with the technical side of training up on the demo or on the portal itself, and then kind of that initial intake of projects into the application stage. So today, like I said, or like Matthew said, we're going to be running through a quick demonstration of the portal to show you how easy it is to get from this intake screen to the monthly payment proposal and then to application. So I'm going to give me 1 second while I get a new screen up. Matthew, I'm going to use you to test. Are you able to see my portal? Okay, fabulous. So everything that NEIF does on the commercial division really runs through this portal. And what we've done is we've automated the entire commercial financing process with contractors in mind to make it exceptionally easy for you to not only create monthly payment proposals, but also get those proposals to application and all the way to funding. After this webinar, we are going to not only be sending out the recording and the PowerPoint, as Kristen mentioned at the beginning of this, but we will also be sending you a URL in which to access this portal. We recommend you bookmarking it for later. And if you have not already done so, if you've not worked with us in the past, you will need to create an account. This is different than becoming a NEIF-approved contractor. You do need a unique account on the portal. But we're going to go ahead and work on the demo site and just quickly run through a project together. And so upon logging in to our NEIF portal, the first screen that you're going to be seeing as a contractor is this create a monthly payment proposal intake form. So as Matthew mentioned, this is the form that you can fill out in just about 2 minutes or less in order to create that monthly payment proposal. It's also the way that any project, coming through you as the contractor is going to enter our financing process for commercial projects. So we'll just quickly run through. As you can see, we need a little bit of information about where the project is being installed. Regarding the utility, please know this is not necessarily a required field, but as Matthew said, we do work in all 50 states on the commercial division and oftentimes have partnerships with different utilities around the country. An important point to make here is that this portal, this intake form is going to be the same whether you're using it in Pennsylvania, to Colorado to California up until Maine. And so if you are working in a state where we have a partnership, it'll pop up here. Otherwise, you can just select what you know or click not required. Next, borrower type does matter. Again, another reminder is that for this program that we're chatting about today, we are only working with commercial and nonprofit entities. Municipal, public schools, those types of buildings can access financing with NEIF, but it'll be outside this program and in our general standard market rate program. Moving right along, we asked for a little bit of information about the customer itself. I do always want to let contractors know that although we're asking for the email address, we are not reaching out to your customer unless either one, you trigger or you ask, say, hey, Jensen, my customer, Mr. Bolin here, has some questions about financing, in which case I'm more than happy to jump on the phone and discuss that with him. Or if you trigger an application to your customer and they fill it out, then in that event, we will certainly be chatting with them. And then finally, we just need a little bit of information about the project itself. Just a few simple data points. I'll tell you that the only 2 data points that we actually require in order to create a monthly payment proposal are project cost and equipment description. Other items such as rebate, energy, or maintenance savings are all optional. If you have them, great. Otherwise, you can just focus on the monthly payment by putting in project cost and equipment description. Today, we're going to be looking at a $40,000 project. Again, as Matthew mentioned, we can look at projects in this program between $2,500 and $100,000. Although if you plug in a larger project, you'll certainly get a quote. It'll just be outside of this particular program. All right, we're just going to go ahead and proceed today and click Show My Options. This is going to take you to the multi-option screen. This screen is essentially how we're filtering projects into different programs that we operate in across the country. And so because today we entered a program or a project in Pennsylvania, commercial borrower type with an eligible dollar size, we're automatically going to filter into this SEF NEIF partnership program for small businesses. So you'll just generally proceed through here nice and quick and click Finalize My Proposal, which is going to take you to the monthly payment proposal overview screen. This is really the main action screen of the portal, and there's a lot of functionality, folks, built in here, but we're not going to walk through all of it. Just want to show you the couple high-level points. Right away, what do we really care about? Just as John said, is we want to be able to break these big project sizes down into nice, simple, fixed monthly payments. Just as if you were going to be going to buy a car. You would never walk on a car lot without knowing what that car costs on a per month basis. And we think there's a lot of benefit to doing the same thing with these projects. And so scrolling down, we want to draw your attention to monthly payment estimates. What our portal is automatically designed to do is to calculate positive monthly cash flow if it exists. So if you enter that energy savings or maintenance savings values on the first page, and if those savings exceed the projected monthly payment, then we're going to show you the first 2 terms in which you show a positive monthly cash flow. But you can certainly come in here, click Show All Available Terms, and you'll see the options 1 through 10. And you can certainly click on and off whatever terms you want to put in front of your customer. Whatever you click here will show up on the 1-page proposal that comes out of the screen. And if you're not calculating energy savings, no worries at all. For example, a lot of the HVAC projects that we work on do not sell on the basis of cash flow. And you can choose to trigger that on and off and just focus on that monthly payment if you like. From here, we'll just quickly I'll just point out a couple pieces of functionality. You can email the proposal right from the portal itself to your customer or contractor. You can come up here and click Edit Project Info to create multiple versions of the same proposal. In the event, let's say that you want to, show what, a couple scenarios. So maybe you're just doing the interior lighting, but maybe you want to throw in that exterior lighting as well and show them what the proposal would look like in that event. You can do so here. You can also click print, and you're going to download a one-page PDF proposal of the screen we just saw that you can put in front of your customer. From here, you can download or print it. And as you can see here, it's going to show the exact same terms that we selected on that last screen. Put some nice next steps in front of your customer. We see the most success when contractors are putting this type of bid, putting this proposal in front of their customer with every new proposal they're going out, or new job bid that they're talking to customers about. That's going to help you solve the can we afford it issue. Right up front, there's no cost, no obligation to creating this, and we see quite a bit of benefit to doing so with every bid you put out there. Last thing I'm going to show you guys today before I pass it back to Matthew here in a minute is that how do we take the next step from here on the portal? So let's say you put this proposal in front of your customer. They not only love the project that you're proposing, but they say, yep, I want to go ahead and finance this. What you're going to need to do is you're going to log back in here, and you're going to click this Ready to Apply button. And when you click Ready to Apply, that's going to trigger an email with a link to an online secure credit application to your customer, which I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. But it's going to ask you also to proceed to the document upload screen, where we're going to ask for your scope of work or your equipment list of what you're installing, which we will need in association with your customer's financing application in order to come to a credit decision. And just to show you really quickly what that email is going to look like to your customer, this will pop into their email just about a minute later, and they'll have the option to go ahead and click Complete My Application, which is going to take them to an application really that they can fill out in just about 5 minutes or less. It's all online, and you'll just be able to submit, or you can save and finish later and always come back to the same URL. So there you go, folks. That's the process in the nutshell. And remember that this is not just an intake platform, but really a pipeline tracker for you all as well. And so for your portal account, you will be able to see all of the projects that you have entered and track them, as Matthew said earlier, with full transparency through the process to application. And once they've been submitted to underwriting, you'll be able to see them as they proceed through the various stages of underwriting, all the way to funds received. All right, we're going to jump back to the PowerPoint. And I see some questions coming in. Thank you so much. We will get to all of those at the end.
Okay, so this is Matthew Brown again. I'm going to take over, Jensen, if you want to move to the next slide. Very quickly, we mentioned this launches on Monday. One very important piece, in order to get to the point of funding a project, we do ask that you become a NEIF-Approved Contractor. That is a very simple process. We will be sending out this link after the presentation, so you can see that. You can apply. It's a very simple process. It's not cumbersome. You can see here what we do require for that NEIF to become a NEIF-Approved Contractor. That gives you, by the way, access not just to this commercial financing program, but also to our full suite of residential offerings, residential financing offerings, and I'm going to give you a preview of one of those in just a minute. Next, keep in mind about what NEIF does. Of course, we do commercial financing, and this project, or this effort with SEF is very focused on a very key market sector of that couple thousand to 100,000, but we can finance other and larger projects. We have a history as a consumer lender. One of the key things that I really want to leave you with, this is kind of a little bit of a tantalizing tidbit for early in the year next year. Some of you may be aware of, under AFC First, the Keystone Help program. That program is going to be relaunching. It is in final stages of getting set up. And so that program will be relaunching first quarter of this coming year. So we are very, very excited about that. Again, another program designed specifically for Pennsylvania. So we will have a companion, both energy efficiency for consumers, for residential customers, and this program for commercial customers. Again, very excited about that. We have the ability also to deliver rebate advances. So in other words, if you have a rebate that takes 2 months to come in from a utility, we can pay you within a couple of days, and we actually end up waiting for that rebate to come in. Finally, we have a strong focus on developing through the acquisition of a company called My Strong Home, which has enabled us to now offer insurance services for contractors in this energy efficiency business. So that's something else that we do. So what you'll find is NEIF we're a full service company. We are very focused, as we said before, on financing for energy efficiency. That is our focus. We are very focused on our home state of Pennsylvania, so we're very excited to launch this. Very excited to work with SEF. Very excited to work with you. So all kinds of excitement. So I think with that, I'm going to bring the formal part of this presentation to a close. And there are I see a number of questions have come in through the chat, and I'm not sure, Kristen, how exactly we are going to manage. I've seen a couple of questions coming in. One of them that I did see was whether multifamily, and kind of a definitional question, is multifamily considered to be commercial? And the answer is yes. One thing we do find is that sometimes contractors who are serving primarily a residential market will end up having a project with a building that's more than 4 units. A building that's more than 4 units is going to be considered commercial, so that would fall under this structure. Churches, as another example, churches are also considered to be commercial and would fall under this. So in addition, I see a question here about solar, and NEIF can fund solar, and so it is not something that is specifically falling under this program, but NEIF can definitely fund solar projects. So I can't, Kristen, I'm not sure if you can maybe help, because I can only see maybe the most recent question. I can't see how to access additional questions. But so, Kristen, I don't know if you can help in looking through additional chat questions. But of course, anybody, please feel free to ask additional questions through the chat.
That's absolutely no problem, Matthew. Thank you. Yeah, I'll just go through the questions as I see them. I have access to the entire chat. So the first question we received was, is multifamily considered commercial? You have answered that question. The next one we have is, when are the funds released? For example, is it released in full at the beginning? Is there a deposit available? Or is it not released until the project is over? So the contract has to cover the cost of materials until the end.
And thank you. That's a great question. So one of our key focuses at NEIF is recognizing the needs of contractors. So we have designed this with a couple of pieces to address that. One, we can fund you at 50% of the project cost at the time that the project the project documents are signed. So when your customer signs and says, okay, we've got an $80,000 project, we can fund you for up to $40,000, actually for $40,000 at that time. We would fund you for the remainder of that project cost once we have the final invoice, once the project is complete, once the customer has said, yes, this is complete to our satisfaction. One other thing I will just quickly point out, keep in mind, to the extent that you are accessing utility rebates, we can, in most cases, we can pre-fund you for those rebates as well. So if you're giving if there's a $15,000 rebate on an $80,000 job and the customer is getting $65,000 of financing, you don't have to wait for that rebate to come in. We can pay you much more quickly for that rebate.
Okay, thank you. There's a follow-up question to that asking if the money is released in the form of a deposit, when does the customer start making payments?
Customer is going to start making payments when the project is complete.
Okay. And I believe we do have some more questions coming in, but there was another one. Let me check. Okay. Will this program expand to any of the other 19 states that NEIF covers?
So this program is a program that we are working on very specifically with the Sustainable Energy Fund. And so the specific parameters of this program, meaning the minimum cost, the maximum cost, $200,000 to $100,000, the specific interest rate are very specific to Pennsylvania. However, NEIF works nationally in its commercial business, and we are authorized to lend in our consumer business in more than 20 states at this point. We absolutely have financing available, commercial financing available, slightly different terms, but available in all 50 states. We operate in all 50 states. Illinois, for example, I see somebody's asking about Illinois. Yes, we will fund projects in Illinois as well on the commercial side.
Okay, so that's another question that came in, which is great. There's another follow-up to the question from before regarding funding. So with the funding of the 50% upfront deposit, how is the interest calculated and charged? Is this amount a surprise fee needed to be paid by someone, or is this going to be decided and calculated at the beginning and rolled into the whole term?
So what happens is there is, did I hear you say the word surprise fee? We will not, we don't do surprise fees. Important point. So the way that works is the customer would sign a document as part of this that would say that they recognize that 50% of that project is being funded up front, and interest does accrue on that 50%, and is then included in that in the final interest or in the final payments for that, the final monthly payments.
Okay. We got a thank you from the person who asked those questions. I don't have any other questions here. If anybody has any other questions, you can add them now, but we don't have any more.
Okay. I wanted to mention two things as if anybody has additional questions. Number one, I want to emphasize customer sales support. So we can help you as contractors to essentially, as you're working on specific projects, if you want broader finance sales training for your team, we are more than happy to do that. We do that all the time. Secondly, we have two key people. Some of you may know Randy Bach from who works very closely with contractors who cover Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and elsewhere. Randy is a key member of our team and will be, in addition to Jensen, available to help you understand all the elements of this offering. So. So both Jensen and Randy's contact information is there. We will, as we had mentioned, we will be sending you this slide deck. We will be sending you additional information in the form of a quick one-pager. We have all kinds of additional information available. We are more than happy to help you. We are very excited to be launching this program with SEF, and very excited to be serving the Pennsylvania market in a very specific and kind of special way, recognizing the fact that we are in fact based in Pennsylvania. So that's I think that's what we've got to say. We'd aim for this to be about 45 minutes, so I think I see we're at about 43 past the hour. I will just pause briefly if Anybody from SEF or if Jensen had anything else you wanted to say before we wrap up?
Yes, I was going to say that SEF is looking forward to this program. It's a new way, a faster way to get projects financed than traditional underwriting methods. SEF is still financing projects and will still continue to finance projects. Even with this program. One thing I failed to mention is SEF is a nonprofit. So unlike a traditional bank, we're not looking to make a profit off these loans. We're looking to have a reasonable interest rate, which NEIF is offering. And although NEIF will service and support your loan will actually be with SEF as the nonprofit.
Very good. Well, thank you, everybody. And thank you again to SEF for this partnership. We're very excited. We will be in touch.
We look forward to it. Thank you, everybody.